Hello folks, Phil Gallagher here for another Legacy video. Today's video is sponsored by Lucas B, who donated to see something that he has dubbed Red White Delver in action. Alright, so obviously it's not a real Delver deck, Delver Secrets is blue, you get it, but the joke is still kind of funny. So the idea here is that we're going to try to take Ragavan and Dragon Rage Channeler and see how they perform without the blue cantrips kind of holding the rest of the deck together. And so we're kind of combining some of the elements from like a blue-red Delver deck into something resembling Death and Taxes a little bit. So the general idea is that you have a strong turn 1 play the vast majority of the games, because you have Ragavan, Dragon Rage Channeler, Mom, and Giver of Runes. And sometimes you can do 2 of those with Lotus Petal. And then the idea is you use the cards that you're generating off of Ragavan to really pull ahead. And you'll have a few different ways to ensure that happens. You can protect it with Mother of Runes. You have somewhere on the order of 12 removal spells to get things out of the way. And you have some other things that can single-handedly take over the game on their own. Stoneforge Mystic for Cauldra is a pretty strong line, especially when backed up with protection. And Luminarch Aspirant is here to make sure that in matchups where the board is going to stall, that we have a way to break parity and just have something else that can snowball and become larger, because, well, these creatures start out as being pretty small. So Luminarch Aspirant is supposed to go and sort of like add the light power and toughness that your deck initially has. As far as the sideboard options go, most of it is dedicated towards beating combo because, like, well, you don't have the Dazes and Force of Wills that regular Delver does in the main deck, so you're losing a lot of percentage points there. So hence the Deafening Silence, Rest in Peace, Surgicals, and Thalias. Basically, we only have a handful of fair cards beyond that. I played a couple of Armageddons because reasons, and then there's a Jitte because that wasn't included in the main deck, and then one Giver to kind of like pad the protection plan a little bit harder. I don't know if this league is going to go well, but it'll probably be pretty fun. We'll see how Lucas's brew does. I think last time their brew went quite well. Alright, if you want to check this one out, or you want to get one of your own decks on the old YouTube channel here, that information is available in the video description, as is my link to the deck list. And please consider, subscribing to the channel if you want to see more Legacy, Modern, and Vintage content 5 days a week. And if you're already subscribed, throw me a like before we get started. It's the easiest way to support my content for free. Let's battle. Okay, this opening hand goes Dragon Rage Channel, Lotus Petal, Mother of Runes on turn 1. That's probably pretty good. Well, it's at least what my deck is designed to do. We'll see how we fare versus Delver. Ooh, Full Dragon Rage Channel? I think the Mom is better. So I'm going to play the Dragon Rage Channeler into Daze. If one of my spells gets dazed this turn, I want it to be this one. Now I get to Lotus Petal and Surveil. Oh. That probably stays on top. And now I'll get Mother of the Mom as my follow-up. Okay, all my spells resolved. Pretty happy to see that. Also pretty happy to see Delver not flip there. On my turn, I can either like Chain Lightning and kill their Delver immediately, or I can just jam Stoneforge. As of last turn, I don't think my opponent had Daze because I gave them 2 premium cards 2 days. But like they had a draw step and a Brainstorm after that, so hard to say. I think I like the idea of playing the Stoneforge around Daze, but we'll see. Okay, there's a Trop, so Delver should be set up to flip next turn, but my Mother of Runes lives. Oh, do I want to trade Dragon Rage Channeler for Delver? Sure. Specifically because I think they are going to play another Delver here. Yeah, that's the way that line makes sense. Now, I think I want to play this around Daze. I think I will just go ahead and Chain Lightning this around Daze. It's dead. Just fetch another basic. I have no white pips in this deck. And I'll play a Dragon Rage Channeler, which is now a 3/3. Oh, nice. We got a force on it. That's great. And now Stoneforge, probably for Cauldra, is likely to take this game home. Yeah, Stoneforge for Cauldra. Oh, wow, bug. Fuck. Well, that was a hell of a sequence of cards to have. Tarmogoyf is also effing huge. My opponent is quite favored at this juncture. It will be blocking and protecting to save the 5 damage. Oh wow, they just naturally had it, huh? Rough. Alright, will you naturally rip another removal spell? And also, do I have another planes? I'm just going to find out this way. I think I do. I do. Alright, let's go grab a Cauldra. I think that is much, much better than Batterskull here. Now, my opponent can find a piece of removal or a discard spell this turn. Sure, I'll take the 5. Oh, that's a fine draw. Alright, let's put this in. I'm not going to play the Luminarch Aspirant first to play it around days, because I'm I'm always going to put in the Cauldra this turn, right? That's something that's just always, always, always happening. Oh, that's just the concession right there. Wow. I mean, I understand Cauldra is a hell of a drug. Alright. I think I want Giver and Rest in Peace for sure. A lot of times these bug Delver decks end up really being bug control decks for post-sideboard games, so I might board in Armageddon too. My Dragon Rage Channelers seem a little medium here. I don't necessarily think they're the things that are going to win the game. My Lightning Bolt stuff doesn't kill Tarmogoyf, but it goes after most of the rest of the stuff. Yeah. I think I want these 5 cards. Maybe go down on a Chain Lightning effect. Maybe go down on a Luminarch Aspirant. I don't know that Lotus Petals are super necessary either. Lotus Petals and Dragon Rage Channelers both seem kind of medium. Let's try something like this. I don't know, this is obviously my first match with the deck, so a little hard for me to tell exactly what I should be keeping. That's fine. Totally good with having 4 basic lands in the deck, so I don't have to wet the wastelands at all. I will remove this Delver at my convenience. See if my opponent takes the attack into Mother of Runes. I don't know what I would do with that information if they do. Okay, well, I get to find out. Mother of Runes has nothing to protect right now. I'll take the trade. I think I want to prolong this game, since I have Rest in Peace. Like, the most likely scenario here is that they just fetch and play Tarmogoyf, right? Since they were willing to throw away the Delver, it means I have another threat, and I can try to invalidate Tarmogoyf 2 turns in a row. It's also fantastic. Alright, so here's our attempt on Rest in Peace. Oh, nice. Alright, so we have currently blanked all of the Tarmogoyfs. Oh yeah, if I'm boarding in Rest in Peace, all 4 Dragon Rage Channelers should have come out, actually. I'll be thinking about that for the future. So much for that, Tarmogoyf. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and play a Stoneforge Mystic around a Daze. Yes, I will grab Cauldra. And I am just going to cast the Ragavan. I know dashing it is cool and all, but I'm good with throwing this into a Daze, given that I have another very strong play. And now if my opponent only has like 1 Abrupt Decay, they have so many targets that they care about. Okay, that was a fatal push for the Stoneforge. And that's fine. And I thought about getting Batterskull because of like the medium amounts of mana that I'm currently on. That's a little annoying. Goodbye, monkey. Alright, I can't Prismatic Ending away Plague Engineer. I think I will play out a second Rest in Peace just so an Abrupt Decay isn't really an issue. And then call it a turn. We'll deal with the Plague Engineer via a Lightning Bolt effect at some point this game. Our Prismatic Ending not being castable for X=3 is backbreaking here. But I was definitely right on my read about this being closer to a control deck. 5, 6. I need 1 more land, and then I can jam a Cauldra into a counterspell. Alright. Oh no, there's more. That sure sucks. At least I have Trample. Not taking the swing in with the Tarmogoyf. I can respect that, I suppose. Feel pretty dead. I also feel totally fine with having boarded in the Armageddons. Like this top end stuff is spooky for me. Well, if okay. I can cast this, get the Batter Skull, but then Grist will kill this Stoneforge. Oh shit, I have Lotus Petal now. That's a third color. So I think that just gets rid of Grist. White, red, blue. Hey, hey! Oh, we might be back in this. Okay. That's pretty good. I take a pretty respectable amount of damage here. And play a Batter Skull, but her name is still a problem. Alright, more creatures. So assuming this Delver flips, I just die through evasion. I'll also just die to any removal spell. Yep, okay, so that's death via evasion. Alright, so if I am boarding in Rest in Peace, all the Dragon Rage channelers need to be out. So I need to board in 2 other cards. Let's keep an Aspirant and play another Chain Lightning. Okay. How do I feel about just the, like, basically naked Ragavan hand that does nothing else? Medium minus. I have stable mana. I have the ability to have 4 basics. I guess I keep this. Like, I have a turn 1 threat and a removal spell. There's a lot to like about that. Yeah, but this is the problem. The Ragavan is stopped. I'm very reliant on the top of my deck. What do you have? What did you pitch? No, you pitched a Ponder. Ooh, Ignoble Hierarch. Alright. Do I want to dash this Ragavan? I don't think so. I think I want to play it around Days. Alright, success. Now do I want a Prismatic Ending, Ignoble Hierarch? Ignoble Hierarch doesn't trade with Ragavan, but I don't know that I want to give my opponent that mana for next turn. If I trade this for a Daze, they get set back on mana anyway. And so, like, that card would still be doing its job. I also probably should have taken the fetch to thin thing. Oh, baby. Yeah, my opponent needed that mana badly. Alright, we hit a Narset. So I have to pay the correct colors of mana. So I can't actually cast that Narset despite the fact that it would be quite good. But I can play this Stoneforge Mystic here. Nice. Yes. Batter Skull. And pass. I'm now very far ahead. Alright, well, I'll fetch with the Arid Mesa, but this is almost certainly naming Stoneforge Mystic. I will just hardcast my Batter Skull. Around Days. Alright, the second Ragavan is not quite as helpful as the first. Get in there. What do we get? A Misty Rainforest. Let's go ahead and fetch. Grab a mountain. Hard cast a Batter's Skull. Alright, they got force pitching a True Name Nemesis. Fine. Alright. 3, 4, 5. I'll go up to 6 mana this turn. Alright, what do you have for me, Ragavan? A Brainstorm. I think I will cast that. Okay, well, I'm not going to get to shuffle. Let's put back the Ragavan that's dead. Actually, no, if I get, like, hymned or something, I want that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Next turn I can cast Cauldra. Assuming Ragavan connects. Let's put the Rest in Peace 2 down. And put the Cauldra there. I should just cast the Rest in Peace this turn. I got kind of caught up in my head there for a second. Okay, we have gotten the concession. Alright, we're starting off on a good foot. Alright, we're playing against Lewis CBR, who is probably playing Delver. I'm going to keep my hand. I wish I had the ability to grab a basic plains with this fetch land. That's what would really set this hand over the top, but you can't have it all. God damn, okay. Let's work on controlling the board first, and we'll go from there. Alright, Daze is fine. Like, I have another Chain Lightning, so I have some degree of redundancy. What do you have for me, Lewis? Another Delver. That's not bad. I have a lot of removal spells in this deck, though. Let's just put that into play. Let's attempt to Chain Lightning a Delver. It's dead. Get a basic Plains. And cast a Mom. And then next turn I'll have Aspirant around Daze, followed by Giver. Alright, opponent drew a Force of Will. And now we have the confirmation of blue-red Delver specifically. Yep. Ooh. Guess I'll start on Mom. And I think I want to get this going as quickly as possible. This may be good enough to prompt the Force. It is not. Aggressive iteration. Dashed Ragavan. I don't really want this thing connecting. I think I'm willing to trade off the Mom. I think I need to keep my threat if I am going to have a realistic shot of winning this game. No dice. But any future threat I draw will be extremely potent. I do need to draw something relatively quickly. Life's kind of bad if Lewis has a blue card. And I think these are supposed to just crash in for damage. Like, if my opponent has lightning bolts, those are better served going at my face than anything else. Alright, Lewis. Is it a blue card? It is a blue card. That's a hell of a top deck there. Getting a Ponder. I don't think I'm going to be fetching to Thin. There's some worlds where, like, the individual points of life matter. My opponent does have things that hit in 2 rather than just 3. This is the danger zone where I can just die this turn. It can be Delver attack into Bolt, and that's just it for me. Yup. Alright. Am I dead? Quick shuffle. I am not dead. I am dead. GG. I will probably not board too much here. I'll probably board the Jitte in and this Giver of Runes in, and that'll probably be about it. I think I'll trim 2 Dragon Rage Channelers. I want to keep all my removal, and I want to keep my things that spiral out of control, and that means that I'm looking at cutting, like, Battle and Dragon Rage Channeler. Thalia is maybe better than Dragon Rage Channeler when I'm on the play. I could buy that. Play 2 Thalias. On the draw, though, I will make that swap back. Hand's awkward. It has 2 removal spells and a decent amount of mana, but doesn't have anything to protect this threat. Fine. Maybe fine. I'm not happy. Alright. Land, plus other mana source, plus Deuter. The issue here is that, like, this counter doesn't get this out of Lightning Bolt range, and neither does the next counter. So, like, my opponent has time to even just, like, play a Delver first before deciding to remove this. Ooh, Unholy Heat. Is that an instant? It is an instant. They could have waited there. Yeah, this is the downside of this hand. My opponent doesn't play out a creature. I basically have to do a little soul searching first. Don't mind drawing the Ragavan. Now I have a threat that can help hold this hand together. And I think I am just casting this again to play around Daze. Yeah, that's fine. I just get the plateau here. And we're going to go with Mother first and try to protect this Ragavan. My card quality is pretty high right now. See what my opponent has. Oop. I think I just play around Daze and just cast this. Alright, it's stuck. That's a Murktide Regent. I cannot answer it with either of the removal spells that are currently in my hand, which is no bueno. Alright. I guess the most reasonable thing to do is to start by just drawing a card and see if I hit exactly Swords to Plowshares. I did not. I think Murktide Regent gets to just clown on me this game now. I can use Giver of Runes to get Ragavan into the red zone if my opponent attacks with Murktide, but the red removal spells have their limits, and 6 is outside of most red removal. Alright, how bad is it? Oh, a Blazing Volley. Okay. Oh, my opponent's not even playing it, though. Alright, I need some help. I guess we're gonna try to use this Ragavan to cantrip into a Swords to Plowshares. Please, 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 please. Delver of Secrets. Oh, it's not great. I probably just play it, because if I can get it to flip, I can stonewall the Murktide that way. Alright, another expressive iteration. Alright, so you get a land drop out of that. Okay. Now, Delver would blind flip. That would be great. It's gotta happen this turn, or I have to draw Swords to Plowshares, because like I am at 6. Alright, Delver. I will not reveal that card. Alright. My opponent probably has a Force of Will. I'm leaving my mana open so that I have flexibility with what I hit with Ragavan. I know that I have a Luminarch Aspirant I could have used to get 1 more damage. Okay, I hit a Volcanic Island. That means that I am just dead in the air, and I will go ahead and concede this one. GG. We had double removal spell, but those removal spells don't kill Murktide. Okay, my round 3 opening hand is essentially such where if I'm playing against something like Delver that's creature heavy, I'm super favored, and if I'm not, this hand is absolute poop. What do I think about that? I want the draw so I get an extra card. I don't know that I beat combo a lot of time in game 1 anyway. I think I'll just keep this hand. I have 16 1-drops or Lotus Petals that I can draw to really improve the overall quality of this hand. I think I'm fine with that. I can also just fire off a Chain Lightning to the face on turn 1. No shuffle. Okay, Prismatic Ending is not what I'm hoping for. Accordingly, send this to the dome. What? Oh. Sorry, for a second there I thought that was like the Force of Will noise. Alright. Probably playing against Bant, in which case, this is not good. I go for a fetch to thin. If I eat a Stifle here, I don't really care. Yeah, that's fine. Would much rather have something like this get stifled than like a Stoneforge Mystic trigger later. Yeah, do your thing. I'm now leaning towards this being like the Jeskai Ragstill deck. In which case I'm not super well prepared for some of their top end. Okay. They can technically Prismatic Ending that away if I get a like Lotus Petal or something. Alright. Well, I've probably lost this game, and you know, the opening keep was a gamble in hopes that like I got paired against the sort of deck that I was likely to beat. Say Livy. As long as I get a white fetch, my hand's still pretty good. Okay, they are banned just with a Stifle. Oh, okay. Growth Spiral was unexpected. Now a second Stifle would be super rough here. Okay, good. Alright. Luminarch Aspirants, go, go, go. Oh, there is movement. Days, sure. Not too much to be done about that. If Swords too. What a beating. I think I've probably lost this one at this point, but I need more information about my opponent's deck. Got an interesting assortment of cards that don't quite work on like one linear plan, so any information I gather is pretty valuable for my sideboarding. They're like delving? What the hell is that? Create a 0/0 green blue and frog fractal creature. Put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is 1 plus the number of instant and sorcery cards you own in exile and in your graveyard. Huh. Interesting. I will answer that for 1 mana. But I suppose I was right to kind of be suspicious of what my opponent was doing. These could be very large creatures. I guess I'll bring in Rest in Peace versus this opponent. Okay, they are playing Uros as well. Okay, I have Swords to Plowshares for that. Match is gonna go long. We'll pass the turn. Okay, they're just not going for Uro yet, huh? I mean, they have like Hardcast Force of Will? Or a Shark Typhoon, who knows? Well, I will just chill. Okay, no movement from my opponent. Alright, here we go. So this is the Uro mana. And I'll take this opportunity to fetch, see if I get stifled. Kinda feels like I might. The Uro comes back. Oh, Swords to Plowshares it. Goodbye. Alright, that just worked. I might win this by decking. I have probably more answers in my deck than my opponent has threats. Alright. Where is my brainstorm? Yeah, growth spiral away. I also don't know how many, like, lands my opponent has. Like, how many actual factual mana producing lands. They'll run out at some point. Dash it. And dash it and still have Source of Plowshares available for something like an Endurance. But I think I just want to cast it. That way I can have Swords of Plowshares around days available. Because, like, my opponent has to have some, like, counter spells or equivalent over there. Yeah, there's the Force of Will that I suspected earlier. Okay, there's a new Uro, which will be coming back immediately. Alright, so there's the 4 mana. We'll see 5 of the 7 cards. Well, really 6 of the 7 cards come out of the graveyard to bring that back. Goodbye. We're through about half of our opponent's library now. Mill game plan going strong. I don't think we're going to throw the Chain Lightning at their face. We'll just chill. Alright, more lands. Sure. I get to answer those for 1 mana. But those things are big. I'll give them that. Oh, I can Prismatic Ending away the Back to Basics if I ever decide I want to do that. Goodbye. We'll call that a turn. I don't think I want to get rid of this Back to Basics. Not really doing anything at this point. Sure. Good old Rusty Dusty Giver of Runes. I don't think this will be getting into the red zone, at least not right now. Definitely not right now. Alright, more lands. I don't think I'm supposed to just double jam those and then play Batterskull into days. I'll wait a little while. If I save both of these, I can also cast a Prismatic Ending for X equals 4, if that's something that I need to do for, like, something like a Jace. That was no shuffle. Alright. Hello, Mom. Got any removal spells over there? You do. I'm very glad that my opponent can't capitalize on my bad start. I probably dashed this time, right? I don't think I'm going to. I think this game is just like, let my opponent do their stuff. Sure. You will run out of cards eventually, and I will stick a Cauldra. Life will be good. Ponder away. I'm up 10 cards in library, sucker. I don't know how many fetchables they're going to have. There's almost certainly at least another Plains in there. Oh, nope. There's not. That was just a shuffle. It looks like they have 7 basic lands in their deck. Or maybe there's a 4th island. There's a 4th island, but that can't be fetched by Windswept Heath. Look at me. I'm the control deck now. Alright, another Serpentine Curve. And once again, going to tap 1 Plains, destroy your 18/18 creature. Honest Brew is cool, though. I play a Dragon Rage Channeler prior to Prismatic Ending. Or that minimal. Well, it's not minimal value. It's real value. I probably do. So then I'll cast some Lotus Petals and get some Surveil value. I want that basic land. That can stay on top. Now I'll Prismatic Ending this. Goodbye. Oh, a fetch. I'll give you 18 life. I'm planning on winning via mill anyway. I am going to leave this on top. Alright, you did not have Force of Will plus blue card. We'll call it a turn. Okay. Force of Plowshares is fine. Alright. And we're at the fail to find stage of the game officially now. So my opponent has 9 mana producing lands in their deck. Alright. Let's go land, Lotus Petal, and cast a Batterskull. We do so around days, which is the biggest thing that I care about. Classic. That's fine. I'll bounce it. I am not in any hurry. Sure. Source of Flashers this now. Go your 22 life. I'll play Mother of Runes. Pass the turn. Alright, second back to basics. Alright, so this is a cool one. We are going to equip the Batter Skull to Mother. Oh, okay, so my opponent has conceded to save their clock. Good stuff. We literally ran them out of win conditions, I assume. Yeah, because the other one I believe is in exile. Yeah, so it's 4 Serpentine Curves and 2 Arrows as their only win conditions. Alright. So I probably just want Surgical Extraction to extract Arrow and Serpentine Curve, because, like, running them out of win conditions is the way that I intend on winning. Armageddon's also pretty good. Rest in Peace is good against Uro, but not against Serpentine Curve. You can consider that as well. But, like, basically, I don't want Chain Lightning. That's the worst card in my deck by a very significant margin, followed by Lightning Bolt. The Armageddons are in. I've got to, like, think about this whole, like, Surgical Rest in Peace situation. Like, which way do I want to do that? I think I want Surgical. But, like, my opponent has so few win conditions that that just feels correct to me. Maybe I'm supposed to do both, just because, like, drawing one or the other of them is quite strong. I could buy that. I board out if I do that. Lightning bolts aren't great either. Want to keep one lightning bolt? Probably not. I'll board out the lightning bolt, board it in a giver. I think something like this looks pretty good. I could think about the Jete if this game is going to go that long. Just having a third piece of equipment is totally reasonable. I don't think I'm going to do that. Alright. I've used a little bit of my clock to get some water. I think I can afford it. I will be keeping this hand. It's pretty strong. Stifle is actually the card that I'm scared of most with this hand. No, I need these. I have the Dragon Rage Channeler Rest in Peace combo going currently, because I didn't learn that lesson in a previous round. But I think it's probably correct to play both side by side here. Like, this is just a 3/3 threat against a slow control deck, and this is something that helps protect against some of the, like, long-term plans of my opponent. Alright. I'm not going to fetch into Stifle if I can avoid it. I assume the Back to Basics is also no longer in my opponent's deck. Like, I could be wrong there, but it feels like, given how easily I ignored that in game 1, they're not still going to have that. Alright. Land go. Ah, don't hate drawing that. I'm going to go ahead and fetch and see if my opponent has a Stifle, because I'd rather get the land stifled than the Stoneforge Mystic trigger. Nice. Now that we've baited that, play Stoneforge. Yes, I will use this ability. And if my opponent doesn't have removal, I would much rather have Cauldra. So let's do that. Alright, movement from my opponent. I assume some sort of towards the Plowshares or equivalent. More land? What do you have for me? That is an Uro. You can draw your card. And I think I am supposed to do this on their turn. No, there's days. I'll do it on my turn. That plays into Force of Negation, but I don't think that's the end of the world. Surgical Extract Uro. My opponent has Surgical Extraction of their own. Got okay, there's one Endurance. My opponent has Uro and Serpentine Curves left. This is Graveyard or Exile. Yep, that's fine. I guess I should take a picture of this. This game is not going anywhere fast. Okay. So, I'm going to go ahead and put in the Cauldra, and I'll go to town. Now, my opponent currently does not have their 4th land for their Serpentine Curve. Yep, so they are going to not be able to play that card this turn. Oh, there's a fetch land. Guessing the surgical extraction is now gone. Okay. So, get a basic plains right now, while my opponent is at least somewhat unlikely to have a stifle. Oh, I guess I 100% could have gotten plateau because I confirmed that whatchamacallit is not in the deck currently. Alright, go Gadget Aspirant. Put this counter on Stoneforge Mystic. Let's get in the red zone. So long term, my plan is to pass this Rest in Peace prior to casting a Prismatic Ending on the Serpentine Curves, so that my opponent can't surgically extract my Prismatic Endings and get the second one out of my hand. Alright, there it is. Land would be my best draw here, I think. Let's cast Rest in Peace. Oh, I don't even need to play around Daze. It's not in my... Oh no, it is in my opponent's deck still. Okay, they're gonna Surgical Extraction on Dragon Rage Channeler in response. Dragon Rage Channeler is something that is very bad once Rest in Peace is resolved, so I probably would have picked Stoneforge if I were them, but I get it. I'm very happy with how I navigated this game. I also think my opponent probably should have thrown back that Surgical when they had the opportunity to. I don't know how bad the other cards were, but goodbye Fractal. This will go on to Stoneforge. We want to build things that are large enough to attack safely into Endurance. Get them. Get them, get them, get them, get them, get them. Starting to need a little client-side lag. Yeah, Brainstorm away. So there are 3 Serpentine Curves remaining in the deck. I have like Prismatic Endings and Swords of Plowshares, as well as like Armageddon. A Resolved Armageddon is like basically unbeatable here. Oh, nice. So I'll swing in with Stoneforge Mystic, have my opponent's life total. Okay, is there literally any reason to play a Rest in second one? And my opponent has nothing that removes this, so I will just hold this in hand as an unknown card. Yeah, Brainstorm away. You've still got some Swords of Plowshares left that can keep you alive. But like Endurance is not castable currently. I guess you could fetch and go to 1. But GG. Opponent's deck list was interesting. Enjoyed that. Okay, for round 4, I am probably playing against Red Prison, and this is kind of a weird hand in that like I can be taken off of my white mana if I fetch a plateau. The hand is okay. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just mulligan this one. I think I'd like something more stable, or something with the Stoneforge Mystic. Well, this has a Stoneforge Mystic. It needs a second land, but Caldra is stupid. I'm gonna keep this, and I'll toss back the Lightning Bolt that is likely to not be castable. Alright. Operation YOLO Stoneforge is a go. And I'll be grabbing the Caldra. It just absolutely dominates combat versus a fair deck. We could get Bone Crushered. Alright, that is a Chalice. Land, 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 land. Not land. Well, I can answer this Chalice later, but I need another mana in order to do that. This was the risk of this hand. On a non-Chalice opener from my opponent, I still just got to like Prismatic Ending a Chrome Mox or play a Mother of Runes. So like missing the land and them having Chalice is what makes this hand like the absolute worst. Oh. Well. Unexpected. I don't need the red yet, but I'm just going to fetch it because I know that I'm going to want it. And I'm going to go with a basic. Right. The Yavimaya thing is in play now, so clicking on lands is annoying. Get him. Alright. Is this just a random one of? And they are still Red Prison? And this is just meant to mitigate like Ancient Tomb damage? Or are they actually a green Stompy deck? Oh, okay. Yeah, they are some sort of like Thespian Stage, Dark Depths, maybe not Oracle of Moldiah, the 3 mana thing that makes all your lands rainbowy. Okay. I win this game most of the time. How do I lose this game? My opponent produces a Merit Lodge. I currently can't really beat that. I could Prismatic Ending the Chalice away this turn. That way, if I top deck a Towards the Plowshares, I could beat it. Assuming I get 6 damage this turn, my opponent goes to 6. I could also just play Mother of Runes this turn, and then I can get protection from whatever color is necessary, and play Luminarch Aspirant next turn, and that guarantees a kill. That's probably better than playing around... Oh, fuck. Chalice. Right. Let's just play the Luminarch Aspirant then. Put this here. Send him. Put my opponent to 5. Alright, no end step movement from my opponent. Okay. So we're playing against something. I honestly don't know that I'll sideboard much. I'll probably play Armageddon just because I can get ahead on board and then slam that. I saw so few cards, I don't have a hard read on exactly what my opponent is doing. They're not the green-white Reclaimer deck because that plays 1-drops, so there's something a little different. I don't know if they have Loam. If they have Loam, I might consider Rest in Peace. I could consider Jitte as another way to get to above 20 life. Or Merit Lodge. What don't I want? The Chain Lightnings are probably pretty medium. Go down on those, play Jitte and the Armageddons. This hand is fine. It has an answer to a Merit Lodge. It has a good play for if I get Chalice of the Voided very early. Keep. My opponent has taken a first mulligan here. Alright, and they keep on 6. They kept a no-lander. Alright. I hope you produce a Merit Lodge next turn or something to make up for that. Excuse me, sorry about that. Okay. Yeah. I'll put in Stoneforge Mystic. Alright, you have an Emrakul. That's probably better. I'll get a Cauldra. Alright, I'm gonna be honest with you, I was not expecting that. I have no Karakas, I believe. I cut that from the mana base because I did not think it was particularly strong. Yeah, Prismatic Ending does not answer Emrakul. Neither does Swords of Plowshares. Neither does Ragavan. Alright. So I guess I play Thalia's now. That's why my opponent kept their hand. Alright, so let's go Jitte out. Go Chain Lightning out. Honestly, probably some of this like Mom Lightning Bolt sort of stuff can go. Like Giver might be better than Mom. My opponent might have like some land-based control. I don't know. My opponent is on something pretty wild. I don't know how good Lightning Bolt actually is. Like I don't know if Lightning Bolt or Mom is better. All right. We'll see how this goes. I'm still just kind of lost about what my opponent is doing. This hand does nothing. Well, this hand has a very fast clock. I will probably keep this and just ban the Dragon Rage Channeler. I think this is my worst card. I want to keep my lands in case I go and draw something like an Armageddon later. Let's get basics. Again, I don't know with 100% certainty exactly what is up over there. Yes. Cauldra. Okay. I'm not well equipped to beat a Dark Depths currently. Well, now it's a maybe. So let's activate the Stoneforge. Let's start clocking. I don't know how quickly they can go. I just have no real conceptual idea of exactly what their deck looks like. I have seen so many disparate things. But I do know that I really like having access to the Swords of Plowshares. Dash this. Send them. Alright, opponent's at 7. I have found an Emrakul. I am a little short of being able to cast it, so I think I'm just going to pass the turn. And the monkey returns to my hand. I do have theoretical lethal next turn. Okay, and we got there against Basuda's absolutely crazy brew. We are up to 3-1 with this deck, which is honestly pretty darn good. Final round opening hand isn't overly impressive, but like it does have double Dragon Rage Channeler. That's probably a keep. I kind of assume that one of these is going to become fodder for some removal spell or other. And since I have 4 lands, I'm fine with being wastelanded, so I'm just going to lead on Plateau. Alright. What flavor of blue deck are you? Alright, no immediate action. Then I think I'll just attack for 1. I'll fetch and then attack for 1. Getcha? Alright, a whopping 19. Now it's Dragon Rage Channeler. And I just kind of wish that I had literally anything, because I think if I get to Surveil once, it's pretty likely that I turn on Delirium. It's not going to take much to set me over the edge here in terms of, like, pressure. Sure. We're probably playing against Blue-Red Delver. And we lost to this previously. Oh, Rug Delver. Well, probably. You know, things can happen. Alright, that's no shuffle. Lightning's not bad. I don't think I want to, like, play this around a Spell Pierce. I might change my mind on what land I want to play depending on how this goes. I will surveil that directly into the graveyard. Now I'll have 4 types, so this will be a 3/3. I think I just want to cycle this land this turn. Get him. Alright, my opponent's at 12. I've got the clock in play. I have a removal spell on hold, but my opponent has 6, now 7 cards. So some things can go wrong. Alright, are we going to see an Uro? Oh, wow, straight up Taiga. Oh, it's Painter. Rug Painter. I think I'm just going to hold up this Swords to Plowshares in case my opponent tries to blast something. I'm not going to cycle this yet. Oh, they've totally got the blast. I want to get my 2 for 1. Nice. Land. Get them. Okay, they're not making a move. Yeah, I still have the threat in play. I am good with this. Brainstorm away. Yeah, and I want my opponent to be the one who blinks first in terms of, like, Red Elemental Blast. Okay, they don't get to fetch and clear. Another Painter's Servant. Love that. I guess it's resolving. Still gonna try to keep attacking. I'm just convinced they're gonna try to blast me in the upkeep and I get a blowout. Towards your Painter. That can go to the graveyard. Towards your Painter. Okay. Force pitching a dress down. Sure. I guess I accept this blast. I'd rather new Dragon Rage Channeler. How scared am I of the combo? Like, is their last card realistically going to be a Grindstone? If I think their last card is a Grindstone, I'm supposed to junk this. But if I don't, I'm supposed to just keep this on top. I'm going to keep it on top. It kills pretty quickly. Now I'm going to go ahead and fetch. Grab a new plateau. I'm going to start by cycling this land to see if I draw a Source of Plowshare specific. I did not. Now I'll play a new Dragon Rage Channeler, and I'll do this thing. Oh, a new Dragon Rage Channeler. If I keep this, I just have a 2-turn clock. I just get to go attack for 3, then attack for 6, and we're done. I'm good with that. I have accepted that I will lose to a Grindstone that is in, like, the top 2 cards of my opponent's deck. A Narset, sure. That's definitely scary. They tapped in a way that doesn't allow them to ponder. Okay. Pretty sure that Painter attack is free, but I guess there's technically Dash Ragavan. Alright, I take it back. I think my opponent's very favored now, unfortunately. Like, they get a Narset plus a Ponder to find Grindstone. Engineered Explosives is good. Alright, so, like, Grindstone is not lethal this turn now. That was no shuffle, which is scary. Alright, they're going EE for 1. Don't know that it's optimal to blow that up immediately. Alright. I think I just hold this. Like, keep some fear in their mind. New Narset. That's a nuisance. Alright. How bad is it? Ponder. The second time they've tapped Narset in a way, or tapped for Narset in a way that doesn't allow them to cast a cantrip afterwards. So that's great. I don't know if I'm supposed to just, like, try to cast the Swords of Plowshares now before I give them more cards to find a blast to protect it. I think I am. Because if this works, I can dash Ragavan and get some value that way. They've already used a couple of blasts. Okay, that's fine. I don't know that they would just like old go for it if they found the grindstone anyway. Okay. Yeah, they're going to try to sculpt, going for it with protection, and that's no shuffle. Okay, so you've got that. Now I presume they'll either not activate this turn cycle if they can do it with backup later, or they'll activate it in my upkeep. Unseed. Thought I had a really good string of draws. Generally speaking, I think we're probably okay in the matchup. We have a whole bunch of 1-mana removal spells for the painter itself. I don't know exactly what the details of this deck list looks like. There's a bunch of things like Narsets, Thalias are probably fine. Armageddons are probably fine. I don't know to what extent I actually want to play stuff like Giver and Bomb. They have roles, but I don't know, I kind of largely view my threats as replaceable. Just trying not to die. Word that out. Yeah, I think I'm going to just like view my threats as replaceable. Do something like this. I think just finishing my opponent via burn has some degree of value, so I don't think I'm going to trim that stuff. I'm not sure though. Like this is not a match that I've ever played. This is a quick Stoneforge. It has some interaction on other axes. I'll keep this, I suppose. It's not, you know, quote unquote the nuts or anything, but it's good enough. All right. Grab a plateau. Play a plateau. And I'm just going to attempt the Stoneforge this turn. Just putting in that Reality Smasher sized piece of equipment and getting hyper aggressive doesn't give my opponent too much time to set up. Alright, we got vaulted. No big deal. I've still got 2 threats and 2 answers. I have 2 cards that are not good anytime in the immediate future, but I think that's okay. Alright. No painter for you. What's a burn for me? I think I want to play Luminarch Aspirant this turn and just let that start turning into a big threat. The more time this sits in play, the more damage it does. Ragavan can be dashed next turn, and its effect is still the same. And another Lightning Bolt. Well, that's fine. Alright, opponent now has all their colors. I have multiple answers to a painter, so if they just play like painter... it's a Narset. Oh, it's an Uro. Okay. Not great at answering that right now. I didn't bring in Rest in Peace or Surgical, so I have 4 Swords to Plowshares that answer that easily. Otherwise, I can Prismatic Ending for X equals 3, as long as I can connect with Ragavan once. There is also the option to double bolt it. It's feel bad, but we might end up there. Ponder away. That'll be the 5th card in graveyard for the Uro. And my opponent does have the appropriate colors for it as well. Alright, so much burn. Oh, so much burn. This pause is indicative of a force of will, and my opponent is deciding whether or not it's worth it. Also, what a wacky set of matches we have played today. Just a very weird, unusual set of pairings. I'm not complaining. It was an awesome league. Engineered Explosives. I don't think I want to cast that. There's some worlds where like having that in play can do things, but I think this treasure token is more important for other reasons. And casting it for 0 doesn't really get me anywhere because I'm not an Urza Saga deck or anything. Alright, Uro. I have answers to you. We'll see if things work. So I think I am supposed to go the double bolt route this time around. I suspect my opponent has Force of Will based on their timing from the previous turn. I think I'm supposed to Chain Lightning this, then Lightning Bolt it. And if the Lightning Bolt gets countered, then I can Lightning Bolt a second time. But I essentially only get 1 shot with Prismatic Ending. Oh, cool. Just worked. I think I will go ahead and just cast the Ragavan. So my opponent knows I have it, and I don't want to, like, make it clear how important that treasure token is to me in the long run. And if if I just pass the turn without playing anything there, it's like very clear that it matters so much. All right, double painter. I'd like to draw a land, please. Nice. I'm gonna fetch prismatic ending one of these for red and white. By painter number 1. Again, I still kind of suspect a Force of Will from my opponent. Okay, there it is. Pitching an Uro. Alright, we'll see if I die. Nope, not this turn. Well, I guess my opponent can still go, like, land, grindstone, kill me. But having 2 dead cards in this hand is kind of rough. Put my opponent to the test very early to see if they had Lightning Bolt, and they did. Okay. Ragavan has been brick-walled here. Well, this is pretty good. That means that the Ragavan has the possibility of trading with the painter. Sure. Alright, so I have something that can start attacking next turn. But my opponent's at 21. Like, things are very clearly in their favor here. I am just straight up dead to the combo. Sure. Alright, now it's Death Touchy, which is annoying for me because my Dragon Rage Channeler has to attack. Armageddon. Armageddon would be cool at this point. I don't know how many mana sources my opponent actually plays, but I imagine it's not a ton. My biggest problem here is that, like, the Uro is looming in addition to the combo. And this will be my opponent's 5th card in graveyard for the Uro. And if that comes back or I have an answer to it, I think I'm donezo. Yeah. I'm just gonna fetch to thin and F6 my turn. Take a plains just in case my fetch land distribution is off or something. I don't think it is, but better to be sure. Alright, I think I'm effectively dead here. I think I'm gonna go ahead and concede. Like, between the combo and this Uro that I don't have answers to, you know, we're close enough to dead that I'm willing to throw in the towel. Alright, we went 3-2 in this league, which was better than I was expecting. Deck performed fine, but the deck is probably conceptually not all that great. Like, you're basically giving up game 1 to combo, and I don't know that you improve enough in the post-sideboard games where that's actually acceptable. The Dragon Rage Channelers felt pretty weak. I wonder if there's a better threat that you can put in that slot. Like, when they transform, it's great, but since you don't have cantrips to, like, string together and, like, really, you know, go off, you don't have as many things as, say, a Delver deck does to help turn this on early. You know, there's not even any, like, baubles here that, like, really would contribute to that count. So, not counting the Batterskull and Cauldra, because you're probably not casting those. Like, there's only 18 things that trigger the Dragon Rage Channeler. You have a bunch of creatures, and many of those things you can't actually cast. Like, the Source of Plowshares and Prismatic Endings, if you don't have a target, these aren't castable, and you can't use them to fuel the Dragon Rage Channeler. So, in terms of deck design, I don't know that this idea is really there, but, you know, scoreboard, it did okay. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please click the like button. If you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing for Legacy, Modern, and Vintage content 5 days a week, and have a great rest of the day.